Hey, y'all. Welcome to the Owensboro Real Estate Update Podcast. This is a special edition episode, our annual year-end review podcast. And because we're less than 1 week away from our official launch of this podcast, where we'll be bringing you weekly updates every week about our local real estate market. So be sure and subscribe to the podcast so you won't miss out on any of our episodes launching this February 2021. Also, we're doing something a bit different this year with our year-end review. In 2020, one of the good things that came out of that year was that we opened our second office. We have a satellite office now, Riverfront Appraisals, across the Ohio in Tell City, Indiana. So we're going to be discussing the annual real estate market in both Daviess County, Kentucky, as well as Perry County, Indiana. But first, I'm going to give a little statistical heads up, a little disclaimer. All of the numbers that I'm going to be talking about on today's podcast are median values. Now, I may mention some averages in there because most people like to hear that because sometimes the numbers sound a little bit better than they really are. But for the most part, we're going to be talking median sale price, median days on market, and so on and so forth. And all of the data has been taken from each market's MLS. So in Tell City, we actually had to research both the Southwestern Indiana Association of Realtors as well as my state MLS because a lot of agents in Tell City use one or the other. And to get a good picture of what's going on in Perry County, we needed to do that. And as usual, the numbers I'm going to be sharing with you are countywide. So for purposes of this particular podcast and then the associating blog that we have with that, I haven't drilled down any further than the county level. But for specific market segments or neighborhoods, feel free to give us a call, contact us, and we'll be happy to complete a more precise neighborhood level market analysis. You can send me an email at info@theappraisalcast.net. So let's get into some numbers here in Daviess County, Kentucky. So as I kind of hinted at a second ago, 2020 was a year that most of us I would say just rather not remember, just get rid of it altogether from our memory. But for those of us in real estate, it's a year that we don't want to forget. It was a great year, another positive year for pretty much everything in real estate in Daviess County, Kentucky. So here's some numbers. We saw around 1,500 homes sell in Daviess County, and that number is almost 6% more than in 2019. So that's in number of houses, units sold. Now, one other thing before I go on too far, my numbers are single-family residential units. So that's going to include townhomes and condos, and it will also include some farm properties. If you're sometimes realtors will list houses with or farms with a house on them. I can speak really. And what it doesn't include is vacant land or multifamily properties. Okay, so let's get back to the numbers. So 6% more houses sold in Daviess County in 2020 than the year prior, and median sale prices across the county were up 8%. That's a big jump for 1 year. They were up 8% to just under $160,000. That's our median sale price, $160,000. And homes sold in only 57 days. So the median days on market in 2020, 57 days. That's 4 days shorter or quicker than the previous year. And also something I always look at, and it's a good indicator of how our market is doing, is the what we call the list to sales price ratio. And this ratio measures how close the homes actually sell to the original asking price or the original list price. Well, if you know anything about the real estate market in 2020, it should come as no surprise that sellers weren't as willing to negotiate last year as they have been in years past, as it was one of the strongest sellers markets we have seen in years. Homes in 2020 sold for 98.38%, so almost 98.5% of their original list price, compared to only 96.6% in 2019. So we went from 96.6 to 98.4% in a year. That's pretty good numbers, guys. Looking at 5-year history, our 5-year history in Daviess County, we're up 25% in our median sale prices. And back in 2016, it took homes 2 weeks more to sell. All right, five years ago, it would have taken you a couple more weeks to sell your house. And so I don't know about you, but I'd say we all have at least something to be thankful for from 2020. Here are a couple of fun facts. A lot of people like to ask about high-priced houses, and especially want to know if we've appraised any. Well, we didn't appraise either one of these, at least not for these sales. But we had 2 houses to sell in Daviess County over $1 million. And you may be listening to this somewhere else out of Kentucky or out of Owensboro, and you think that's no big deal. But for us, it's a pretty big deal to have a home sell over $1 million. And we had 2 that sold over $1 million, and they were both on Griffith Avenue. So 1520 Griffith Avenue sold for $1.2 million, and 1024 Griffith Avenue sold for just under $1.7 million. So pretty high-priced houses on one of my favorite streets in all of Owensboro. Our sweet spot is still between $100,000 and $200,000. That price range, roughly 800 of the almost 1,500 homes, so a little bit more than half of the homes that sold last year in 2020 were from that price range, from that $100,000 to $200,000 price range. And if you're wondering how the east side compared to the west side, I thought that would be fun to look at. So I compared the 2 largest zip codes in Daviess County, and here's how they stacked up. On the west side, 42301 zip code. In 2020, we had 627 sales. That was up 14% from 2016. All right. Median sale price in the 42301 zip code, $152,000, up 23% from 5 years ago. The median days on market, 57, or right around where the entire county was. And that's 9 days less than it was 5 years ago. And the list to sell price ratio is also better at 98.31%, or about a percentage better than 5 years prior. Now, if you cross Frederica, how they say it here, Frederica. Somebody please make a t-shirt with those on there, please. I will buy one. I will buy several. 42303 zip code, number of sales in 2020, 665. So maybe about 40 sales, 40 homes more than 01 zip code. And that's up 15%. So about really close to the west side. That's the 5-year change. Now the median sale price, in the west side, 152 versus east side, 159. So East Owensboro barely out pacing the median sale price. And that's up 21%, whereas west side was 23%. So median sale prices in the 03 zip code up 21% over the last 5 years. Now, homes sold in 55 days, which is 16 days less than it did in 2016. And just like on the west side, homes sold for just a little bit over 98%. Their listed sale price, 98.26%. All right, so that's going to wrap up Daviess County. Let's cross the river and look at Perry County, Indiana. Again, we're looking at these numbers. Riverfront Appraisals has an office in Tell City, very happy about that office and about spending more time there and investing in that community as we have here. And so Perry County sales, as I said earlier, they do require a little bit more digging. You see, the majority of real estate agents in Perry County, they list through what's called My State MLS, while there are a few that still list through the Southwest Indiana Association of Realtors, SIAR, you may see. And so we're members of both of those systems, which it really is a must in order to get a true picture of the real estate market in Perry County. And like Daviess County, 2020 was a good year for real estate in Perry County, with one exception we'll get to in just a second. We saw a massive, massive jump in the number of units and number of homes sold in 2020. So last year, 208 homes sold. Again, these are residential units. 208 homes sold, which was up almost 28%. 28% from 2019. And it was up 58% over the last 5 years. So my goodness, those are a lot of houses that are moving in Perry County, up 58% over the last 5 years. And the 5-year median sale price in Perry County, up 32%. That's incredible, 32%. Now, here's the only slight bit of bad news. 2020 actually saw a little bit of a decline in median home values, down 5% from the previous year. There was a median sale price of just under $116,000. But despite the slight decline in values over the last year, homes sold much quicker than in 2019. In fact, 11 days quicker than the previous year. And they sold for 97.5% of the list price, which was much better than the 94.5% we saw in 2019. So again, a seller's market in Perry County. Sellers not quite as willing to negotiate there either. So well done numbers in Perry County. Here's some fun facts in Perry County. The most expensive home sold in 2020 was an absolutely incredible property. I wish I would have gotten to appraise this one. It was on Highway 166 over in Tobinsport, right on the Ohio River, with almost 93 acres of land. This property sold for $700,000. And then also, while not residential, it's still fun, and I'm super excited about this. Perry County is getting a new hotel. It was announced late in 2020 that a new hotel will be built on 7th Street, and it is expected to be open by the end of this year, the end of 2021. So both Daviess County and Perry County showed really impressive growth in various areas of real estate in 2020. It was a year which for most of the world was marked with sickness, uncertainty, and even job loss. And it's great to be able to report the positives that came out of such a rotten year. And I hope that this time next year, when we do this all over again, as we've done for several years now, I'll be able to report another year of positive growth for these markets. So if you have any questions about the real estate market where you live or the market value of your home, you need someone who can provide you with information in an objective, unbiased, and independent manner. Contact Riverfront Appraisals today to schedule an appointment with one of our appraisers, and you'll be well on your way to understanding your home's market value. This has been Ryan Bays with Riverfront Appraisals. Thank you for listening. You can find more information at riverfrontappraisals.com. And again, please remember to like this podcast, subscribe it, share the podcast with your friends. We're going to be back in February when we kick off our weekly update, and I can't wait to see you all then. Thanks so much.